There exists a kind of love that doesn't follow conventional rules. It's not the romance we see in movies, nor the relationship society expects you to have. It's a love that awakens something profound, something that stirs internal structures you didn't even know existed. Carl Jung, one of history's greatest psychologists, discovered that some human encounters transcend logic and touch layers of the soul that are rarely accessed. He called this the twin flame encounter. But here's what almost no one tells you. Twin flame love isn't a fairy tale. It's a transformational journey that passes through 7 specific stages, each with its own pain, discoveries, and revelations. And if you're living or have lived this type of connection, you need to understand that it's not about finding someone to complete you. It's about awakening to who you truly are. In this exploration, I'll guide you through the 7 stages of twin flame love, according to Carl Jung's vision. And when you finish listening, you'll understand why this journey is simultaneously the most challenging and most transformative that a human being can experience. Because at the end of the day, twin flame isn't about the other person. It's about finding yourself through the mirror that the other becomes. Have you ever had the sensation of knowing someone before even being introduced? That moment when eyes meet and something inside you recognizes something in the other, even though you're complete strangers? This isn't romanticization. It's what Jung called archetypal recognition. It's the first stage of twin flame love, recognition. Recognition doesn't happen in the mind. It happens at a much deeper level, where the soul identifies a familiar frequency. It's as if 2 parts of the same whole found each other after being separated for a long time. But here's what most people don't understand. This recognition isn't about finding your other half. It's about finding someone who carries the same archetypal intensity as you. Someone who's on the same journey of individuation. Jung believed that we all carry primordial images in our unconscious, the archetypes. When we encounter our twin flame, it's as if these archetypes awaken simultaneously in both people. You feel that you know this person's thoughts, that you understand their deepest motivations, that there's a communication that goes beyond words. It's almost telepathic. But this recognition comes accompanied by an intensity that can be frightening. You feel an attraction that isn't just physical or emotional. It's a soul attraction. It's as if something inside you said, "This is the person." And this can happen in a matter of seconds or minutes. Time doesn't matter. What matters is the inexplicable certainty that arises within you. The problem is that most people, when they experience this recognition, try to explain it with logic. It must be love at first sight. It must be compatibility. It must be destiny. But it's none of that. It's the collective unconscious manifesting through 2 individuals who are ready for a profound transformation journey. And here's the first great lesson. If you felt this recognition, prepare yourself. Because what comes next will challenge everything you thought you knew about love, about yourself, and about life. Recognition is just the beginning. It's the call to a journey that will transform you in ways you can't yet imagine. After recognition comes something that seems magical, but is actually a psychological trap very well documented by Jung. Projection. It's the second stage of twin flame love, and it's where most people get completely lost. Projection happens when you begin to see in the other everything you'd like to be, but haven't yet developed in yourself. It's as if the person became a blank canvas where you project your ideals, your dreams, your deepest aspirations. You look at them and see perfection. You see someone who understands you completely, who would never hurt you, who is exactly what you've always been looking for. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. You're not falling in love with the person. You're falling in love with your own projection. Jung said that projection is the mechanism by which the unconscious tries to show us parts of ourselves that need to be integrated. When you see qualities in your twin flame that fascinate you, you're actually seeing aspects of yourself that need to be developed. During the projection stage, everything seems perfect. The connection is intense. The chemistry is explosive. You feel as if you were one person. You talk for hours, share dreams, make plans for the future. It's as if you'd found paradise on earth. You think, I've finally found the right person. But projection has a problem. It's not sustainable. It's impossible to maintain an idealized image of someone when you live with that person day to day. Reality has a cruel way of destroying our fantasies. And that's when we reach the third stage, which is where many people give up because they can't understand what's happening. What's interesting is that during projection, you're also being a projection for the other person. They're seeing in you qualities that are actually theirs, but which they don't recognize. It's as if you were dancing a dance of mirrors, where each sees in the other what they need to see in themselves. This stage can last weeks, months, even years. It depends on each person's level of consciousness and willingness to see beyond the surface. But one thing is certain: projection will end. And when it ends, you'll face the rawest and most transformative reality of your life. And then, suddenly, the bubble bursts. The person you thought was perfect begins to show flaws, imperfections, behaviors that irritate you. The Prince Charming reveals himself to be a common human being, with problems, traumas, shadows. And you ask yourself, how could I have deceived myself so much? Welcome to the third stage, disillusionment. Disillusionment is the most cruel and at the same time most necessary moment of the twin flame journey. It's when projections fall and you face the reality of the person beside you. And this reality can be devastating. You discover they're not as evolved as you thought, that they have behaviors that hurt you, that they don't always understand you as you imagined. Jung explained that disillusionment is actually disillusionment with yourself. When you're disappointed with the other, you're disappointed with your own projections. You're realizing that you created a fantasy and were living in that fantasy. It's like waking up from a dream and realizing it was just a dream. But here's what's crucial to understand. Disillusionment isn't the end. It's the beginning of real love. Because only when you stop loving a projection can you begin to love the real person. And only when you stop trying to be a projection can you begin to be yourself. During disillusionment, many twin flame couples separate. They believe they made a mistake, that they weren't compatible, that love ended. But actually what ended was the illusion. Real love is being born. It's a love that doesn't need fantasies to exist. It's a love that accepts imperfection, that embraces the other's humanity. Disillusionment is also the moment when you begin to question your own motivations. You realize that part of your attraction to the person was based on unresolved needs, emotional deficiencies, searches for validation. And this can be painful to admit, but it's liberating. It's at this stage that many people give up because they can't deal with the emotional intensity. They prefer to return to more superficial relationships, where they don't have to confront their own shadows. But those who have the courage to continue discover that disillusionment is actually a portal to something much deeper and more transforming. After disillusionment comes something even more challenging: the encounter with the shadow. It's the fourth stage of twin flame love, and it's where the journey becomes really intense. Jung said that the shadow is everything we deny in ourselves, everything we don't want to accept as part of our personality. The twin flame has a very specific function. They are a perfect mirror of your shadow. Everything you most criticize in them, everything that most bothers you about them, are actually aspects of yourself that you don't want to recognize. It's as if the universe had sent someone to show you exactly what you need to heal in yourself. During the shadow stage, conflicts intensify. You fight about things that seem silly, but actually touch deep wounds. You get irritated with their behaviors that, coincidentally, are behaviors you also have, but deny. It's as if they were a mirror reflecting everything you don't want to see. For example, if you get irritated with how they react when stressed, it's because you also react similarly when stressed, but don't want to admit it. If you criticize how they communicate, it's because you also have communication problems you don't want to face. The shadow is relentless. It shows you everything you try to hide. But here's the magic. When you begin to recognize and accept your shadow, something extraordinary happens. You stop judging the other and begin to transform yourself. Because you realize you can't change the other person, but you can change yourself. And when you change, the relationship dynamic changes too. Working with the shadow is painful, but it's liberating. It's like cleaning the house of your psyche, throwing away everything that no longer serves. And the twin flame is there to help you in this process, being the perfect mirror of your unresolved issues. Many people flee during the shadow stage because they can't deal with the intensity of self-knowledge. They prefer to blame the other, say the person is toxic, that they're not compatible. But actually, they're fleeing from themselves. They're fleeing from the opportunity to grow, to transform, to become more whole. It's at this stage that the twin flame journey reveals itself as a journey of individuation. It's not about finding someone to complete you. It's about using the relationship as a catalyst to become complete by yourself. After the intense work with the shadow, there comes a moment when something inside you asks for space. It's as if you needed to step away to process everything that was discovered, to integrate the lessons learned. It's the fifth stage, Separation. And here's something that goes against everything you've heard about relationships. Sometimes, stepping away is an act of love. Separation in the twin flame journey isn't like a common separation. It's not about lack of love, about incompatibility, or about finding someone better. It's about recognizing that each person needs time and space to work on themselves. It's about understanding that you can't grow completely when you're always in the mirror of the other. Jung spoke about the importance of individuation, which is the process of becoming who you really are. And sometimes, to individuate, you need to step away from external influences, including the person you love. It's as if you needed to go to the desert of your own soul to find your true essence. During separation, many people panic. They think they've lost the person of their life, that they made an irreparable mistake. But actually, separation is a natural and necessary part of the journey. It's the moment when you learn to love yourself independently of the other, to complete yourself without needing external validation. Separation can last days, months, years. There's no determined time. It depends on how much each person needs to work on themselves. And what's interesting is that during this period, the connection isn't lost. It's as if there were an invisible thread connecting you both, even at a distance. It's during separation that you discover if you really love the person, or if you were just addicted to the intensity of the connection. It's when you learn the difference between need and love. When you need the other, you're in lack. When you love the other, you're in abundance. Many people try to shorten the separation, return before it's time, can't stay alone. But those who have the courage to fully live this stage discover something extraordinary. They discover they're complete by themselves. And when you feel complete, you can love the other freely, without attachment, without possessiveness. Separation is also the moment when you test whether there really was growth. If you can be well alone, if you can maintain your inner peace without depending on the other, then you're ready for the next stage. But if you're anxious, desperate, trying to control the situation, it's a sign that you still have work to do on yourself. While you're physically separated, something profound happens internally. It's as if the entire experience lived with your twin flame began to organize itself within you, like pieces of a puzzle that finally find their place. It's the sixth stage, integration. And it's here that true transformation happens. Integration is the process of absorbing all the lessons learned during the journey. It's when you stop seeing the experience as something that happened to you and begin to see it as something that happened through you. You realize that each pain, each conflict, each moment of disillusionment was necessary to transform you into the person you are today. During integration, you begin to understand that your twin flame wasn't just a special person who appeared in your life. They were a catalyst sent by the universe to help you awaken to your true essence. They were a mirror that showed you both your light and your shadow, both your greatness and your wounds. Jung said that individuation is the process of becoming whole, of integrating all aspects of personality. And the twin flame journey accelerates this process intensely. It's as if you lived in a few years what would normally take decades to discover about yourself. During integration, you also begin to develop what Jung called the transcendent function. It's the ability to hold opposites in creative tension, to be simultaneously strong and vulnerable, confident and humble, independent and capable of intimacy. You no longer need to choose between being one thing or another. You can be all of this at the same time. The most beautiful thing about integration is that you stop blaming your twin flame for the difficult moments. You realize they were fulfilling their role perfectly, showing you exactly what you needed to see. You develop a profound gratitude for the entire experience, including the painful moments. It's also during integration that you realize you've changed. You're no longer the same person you were when the journey began. You're more conscious, more whole, more authentic. You know yourself better. Accept your imperfections, embrace your complexity. You've become more human and at the same time more divine. Integration isn't a linear process. It's like waves that come and go, each bringing a new layer of understanding. And when you feel you've integrated most of the experience, when you feel complete and at peace with yourself, then you're ready for the last stage. After the entire journey of self-knowledge, after having integrated your shadows, after having individuated yourself, something extraordinary can happen. You can reunite with your twin flame, but now as a completely transformed person. It's the seventh stage, reunion. But attention, not all twin flame journeys end with physical reunion. And this is perfectly correct. Reunion happens when two people who have gone through the complete journey of individuation meet again. But now they don't meet from lack, from need, from projection. They meet from abundance, from completeness, from consciousness. It's as if two whole beings chose to share their lives, not because they need to, but because they want to. In reunion, love is completely different. It's no longer that intense and possessive passion from the beginning. It's a mature, conscious, free love. It's a love that doesn't need drama to exist, that doesn't feed on jealousy, that isn't based on fantasies. It's a love that accepts the other's humanity, that embraces their imperfections, that celebrates their individuality. During reunion, conflicts still exist, but they're resolved differently. Instead of fighting to be right, you seek to understand each other. Instead of trying to change the other, you work to communicate better. Instead of running away when things get difficult, you face challenges together. But here's something crucial. Reunion isn't guaranteed, and it doesn't need to be. Often the twin flame journey is about the process, not about the result. It's about what you became during the journey, not about staying with the person forever. Some twin flames reunite for a lasting relationship. Others reunite for conscious closure. And others never physically reunite, but maintain a spiritual connection forever. What defines whether there will be physical reunion isn't destiny, nor the strength of love. It's divine timing, life circumstances, each person's choices. And most importantly, it's both people's capacity to sustain a conscious, mature relationship, based on choice and not on need. Reunion can also be with a completely different person. Sometimes, your twin flame fulfilled their role as catalyst, and now you're ready for a healthy relationship with another person. Sometimes, you reunite with an old love, but now you can relate maturely. Sometimes, you attract a new person who resonates with the transformed person you've become. What matters isn't who you end up with, but who you became during the journey. Because the true reunion is with yourself. It's the integration of all parts of your personality into a conscious, loving, and authentic being. After passing through the 7 stages of twin flame love, you're no longer the same person. You've gone through an alchemical transformation that touched the deepest layers of your soul. And here's the most important truth. Regardless of your journey's outcome, you gained something no one can take from you. You knew yourself deeply. Jung said that life's objective isn't to be happy, but to be conscious. And the twin flame journey is one of the most intense ways to develop consciousness. It's as if you'd done years of therapy in a concentrated period, but experientially, through direct experience with another soul. Some people spend their entire lives running from themselves, living superficial relationships, avoiding self-knowledge. But those who live the twin flame journey don't have this option. You're forced to look at yourself in the mirror, to face your shadows, to transform your wounds into wisdom. And the most beautiful thing is that this transformation doesn't just benefit you. It benefits all the people around you. When you become more conscious, more whole, more loving, you positively influence all your relationships. You become a lighthouse of light for other people who are still in the awakening process. The journey also teaches you something fundamental about love. That true love isn't about possessing, but about liberating. It's not about completing, but about complementing. It's not about finding someone perfect, but about loving someone imperfect in a perfect way. If you're living or have lived a twin flame journey, know that you were chosen for something special. Not because you're better than others, but because your soul was ready for this level of transformation. And even if the journey was painful, even if it didn't end as you expected, you became more than you were before. Remember, twin flame isn't about finding someone to complete you. It's about using the connection with another soul to awaken to your own completeness. It's about becoming so whole that you can love without need, relate without possessiveness, surrender without losing yourself. The twin flame journey is one of the most transformative experiences a human being can live. It's a journey back home, inside yourself, to your purest essence. And when you arrive at this place, you realize you were always complete, always sufficient, always loved. Twin flame love teaches you that you don't need anyone to be happy, but that you can choose to share your happiness with someone. It teaches you that you don't need anyone to feel complete, but that you can choose to complement your completeness with someone else's. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson of all, that true love isn't about finding the right person, but about becoming the right person. And when you become the right person, you attract right relationships, not necessarily with your twin flame, but with people who can love you consciously, maturely, and liberatingly. The twin flame journey is a gift the universe offers to courageous souls, willing to transform, to grow, to awaken. If you received this gift, use it wisely. Allow it to transform you. Allow it to teach you about love, about yourself, about life. And remember, it doesn't matter where you are in the journey. It doesn't matter which stage you're experiencing, you're exactly where you need to be. Trust the process, trust the timing, trust your soul's wisdom. Because in the end, this is all about you becoming who you really are. And who you really are is much more magnificent than you imagine. If you've made it this far and recognized at least one of these stages in your own life, share in the comments below which stage you're currently experiencing. This shows me that you didn't just watch until the end, but that something within you has awakened to this silent language that exists between connected souls. And if this content truly resonated with you, if it helped you realize that you were never really alone in this journey, you can support this work by clicking the thanks button below. This financial support, however small it may seem, makes an enormous difference. It allows this work to continue, to grow, and to reach further, perhaps even finding your own twin flame, who is also seeking to understand this profound connection you both share. Thank you for walking with me through this journey of discovery. Until we meet again in the next video.